From being one of the most active boxers in the world to holding several world championships in 3 weight classes, Gervonta Davis can be a real threat to anyone. But for some reason, Ryan Garcia doesn't think so. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like there's a trash talk storm brewing. And here's all the tea. There's no other way to say it. Garcia doesn't think Davis stands a chance. I apologize to all Gervonta fans, but that's what the fighter has been saying. In fact, he thinks that his future opponent isn't that different from Luke Campbell. I bet you're wondering why he made this comparison. Well, that's because he beat Campbell, of course. You probably remember the famous 7 rounds that resulted with Garcia ending his opponent with a hook to the liver. This just makes everything a bit more interesting. Oh, and that's not all the boxer had to say. He does accept the fact that this is going to be a very different fight. But that, my friends, doesn't mean that Garcia thinks Davis would manage to steal a win. In fact, he thinks that it might even be easier to beat his opponent. Yikes. That's the amount of self-confidence I need in my life. And well, while some of you Davis fans might not like the boxer's opinion, but according to him, it's all justified. Here's the thing. According to Garcia, Davis is only a tough fighter on paper. Yeah, you heard that right. Only on paper. Ouch. That's harsh.
We just waiting for, you know what I mean, Ryan to accept on his side and let's get the job done.
I guess all the titles he's earned and his incredible performance over the years, that amounts to nothing. So, with all this trash talk going on, it's important to see if the math is in Ryan's favor, and I think you'll find that this is very much the case. But first, let's see who he's up against. After all, it's important to give the opponent a little benefit of the doubt. Now, Gervonta Davis stands at 1.66 meters. Apart from this, he's got a reach of 1.71. That sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it? Well, wait till you hear about Ryan Garcia. He stands at a staggering 1.78 meters, and that's not all. His reach is also around 1.78, so I guess that makes it clear. The advantage sits with Garcia, and this is very obvious to Ryan. He actually mocked his rival, saying, "Davis will really have to stretch to hit me." Yikes. Now, whatever Garcia might say about his opponent, Davis has a much larger cause that's fueling him. That's right. Apparently, he's fighting for the Mexicans. Now, there's actually an interesting backstory behind this. You might be familiar with this controversy where Garcia pretends to be a Mexican. Well, he's been mocked by Davis a couple of times for that. He's actually opened up about it as well. According to him, King Ray thinks that this is all a part of some strategy he's got going on. A strategy for what, though? Oh well, seems like he wants to attract Aztec fans. But Davis? In his own words, "Support me, I'm going to fight for you." Davis also said that he loves his Mexican fans. And that's not all. Apparently, he also loves tacos. I guess, in a way, he's fighting for tacos as well. Now that's a noble cause we can all get behind. So that just strengthened his motivation. Now, as much as I would want them to let their fists do the talking pretty soon, but here's the thing. Their bout isn't scheduled till the 22nd of April of this year. So we're gonna have to wait for a little over a month.
If it's up to me, Ryan definitely next.
Taking place in Las Vegas, this fight has already been titled as one of the biggest fights of the sport, and that totally makes sense. The two are set to face each other for the first time in this mouth-watering event, and it's clear that the fighters themselves can't hide their excitement. After all, it's the first super fight of this year. So this leads up to the next question. What's in it for the winner? Well, seeing that there's so much buildup for the fight, there's definitely going to be a lot riding on it. So whoever wins the title is all set to be a top name in the world of boxing. And that's not all. They're gonna be opening themselves up to tons and tons of lucrative opportunities. This doesn't just include big fights, but there are also going to be a lot of crazy endorsement deals coming his way. Davis himself thinks that this fight could be possibly the biggest fight in a couple, like in over 5 years. And well, I bet you totally agree with that. He also said that his fight against Garcia is something that the world of boxing has been longing for a while.
Well, Macias has been stopped numerous times. This is nothing new.
This fight, as I said before, is actually pretty special. Not that because of the intense buildup, or even because it's got 2 big names involved. There's actually another reason. The two have been aiming some pretty harsh comments at each other. That's not all. They even claimed that the other party was avoiding the showdown.
I don't want to be too cocky, but there's a lot of fighters that if you watch, they do everything I do.
Now, I know that this is pretty common in fights, but what's cool about this is the fact that we saw the two get better and better with every performance. So, we couldn't just let them go without sorting it out in the ring. It was a huge relief for everyone when they agreed to fight in the past November. And while it's a widely acknowledged fact that Garcia's got an advantage, it's clear that he's still gonna leave it up to chance. In fact, he's actually been seen training quite hard in the gym. Some pictures of his began surfacing.
You've been hitting this since you were a baby, huh?
Not this exact one, but
And well, it looks like Davis didn't quite like that, so he did the next best thing. And nope, it wasn't going to the gym and upping his training, as you'd expect. He actually accused him of taking performance-enhancing drugs. Gervonta thinks that Ryan is looking a bit too big, and since he's never looked that way before, he's definitely on something. Oh well, the jury's still out on that one, and I'd like to point out that Davis actually ended up deleting his tweets. Of course, if there was anything serious going on, they would have at least postponed the bout. But as you know, it still stands to take place in April.
I have a spirit of competition in me, and you're gonna see that come out when I fight Tank and whoop his.
Now, coming to the most important point, what's the fight going to look like? Garcia, as we discussed before, has a 5-inch advantage in height, and that's not all. His reach goes about 3 inches beyond that of his opponent. Now, that's all cool, but chances are that he might be a bit rusty. That's right, Garcia hasn't fought since July 2022. I bet you all remember this fight. After all, he knocked out Javier Fortuna. At the moment, Ryan has quite the professional record. 23-0. Now that's something Davis should be concerned about. On top of this, he's also got a whopping 19 wins by knockout. So yes, it totally makes sense that the fighter isn't too worried about losing against Davis. But Davis isn't here to play around as well. Nope, the man means business. He's also got a perfect record, but instead of 23 wins, he's at 28. So that might be something Garcia should be a bit worried about. Oh, and coming to knockouts, he's managed to one-up Ryan there as well. That's right, Davis has 26 knockout wins on his record. And I know many think of his height as a disadvantage, but hear me out. Despite being 5'5", he's still found quite a lot of success. Oh, and that too in multiple categories. These include super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight. So yeah, I guess there's no messing around with Davis. With that being said, it's a wrap on what Ryan Garcia feels about Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta